Okay, we're back for part two. I decided to sort of not go straight planks like I had before. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do offset. So I'm gonna do some like nice little separation. So I went 12 inches here. I think the next one I'm gonna do in the middle here is gonna be 14 inches. So it's gonna be back like that. Then I'm gonna go back again, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do sort of like a little offset. So it's gonna look more sort of like a hardwood, sort of like a floor setup, as opposed to just straight planks, which were kind of bugging me a little bit. So I turned it all around, I took it out, and then what I'm going to do on the edges is I'm not going to do, I'm going to get rid of this because I trimmed this. I'm going to take another plank because I actually ended up buying another box. Can't go around at 23 bucks a box, to be honest with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up doing the side pieces over here, but the side pieces I'm going to do is I'm going to extend it all the way through. So it's just going to follow the actual lines of the trunk. And that way, I thought I'm going to do it out of carpet on the sides or Alcantara, but I thought about it, it's going to be too many things in the trunk. There's going to be like, you know what I mean? So I'm going to kind of just do a full out base that's going to follow the carpet of the trunk right there. So in the meantime, I'm just going to focus on it. I'm going to do these in like a nice little offset pattern. And I'll show you guys in a minute how it's going to look like. Okay, so that's a lot nicer. I think I like this a lot better because you can see this sort of like separations, and the grading kind of looks more sort of like a hardwood floor or hardwood setup. The straight planks, I don't know. I didn't really feel it for some reason. It looked too sort of like straight. I think this is a lot more nicer to what I like. So this is going to be the centerpiece of the Civic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the side pieces that extend here. I'm going to do that next, but so far so good. And then we'll be able to measure up, and then finally I'll be able to start laying out the tank, the compressors. I didn't mean to flip. Let's do this again. All right. Might as well. What's going on? Squeaky clean air here in the house. Okay, let's get back to work. Yeah, so I'm going to be able to do the side pieces, and I'm going to lay the tank out. I'm going with a 4-gallon airlift tank, just kind of a basic bitch hardline setup with a 4-gallon, 2-wire 444C compressors, my manifold for air management, and then I'll be able to kind of like do a cool sort of like a hardline setup. Going from like just basically a blocked setup to a hardline setup, I think is going to be pretty cool. And I'm probably going to employ the... What do we have? Employ the these are going to be my wheel stands that I've just welded up, and we're going to use some of these, and we're going to use these on the wheel stands, some neochrome ones. I'll probably do a vlog on doing those actually, and how I'm going to go about doing it. So I'm going to do that probably next. Just going to spice up the boost for next year. But anyways, these are the compressor brackets. A little bit dusty, but these are the little guys. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of have the compressors floating, maybe like that on both sides, the tank in the middle and the manifold in the center. I'll see. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to arrange it, or maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a single compressor, because you really only need one, and I'll leave one as a backup. Have it like that, flow it over here, the tank. Actually, no, I want to put the manifold in the center, so maybe not a good idea. Maybe I'll do the compressors like that. Or maybe have them going like that, and then sort of, I think maybe that would be a cool idea where the compressors are going down, the manifold's going down, and then you have the tank in the back. We'll see. We'll have to play around with it, but it's looking a little bit better now. I'm going to focus on the side pieces, and then I'm going to put it in the car, and I'm going to test it all out and see where we go. Okay, so I put the trunk setup in the Civic. Oh. Before I kill myself and fall over. This is the sort of like cleaned resin black piece. It's not too bad. I will eventually overlay this in carbon fiber so it looks a lot cleaner. It's definitely a lot cleaner than what it was before. Nice and black and stuff like that. We'll clean it up. I'll take proper pictures after. But here we go. I like that a little bit more. It's got a little bit more of a sort of, let me get rid of that. There's flash off. There you go. It's got more of a hardwood feel to it. But what I'm in the process of doing right now is I'm in the process of doing the side pieces, which is over here, basically 1/4 inch panels. But here's the thing. I have to keep in mind that the subframe is a little bit hard to be removed, which means that well, it's not that bad if you just wiggle it out. But what I'm trying to say is that you got to pay attention, because once you build the subframe, you got to be able to take it out. Because basically this is going to be like a modular setup, right? You're going to have the subframe first, then you're going to have the laminate base, you're going to have the MDF base, then you're going to attach the laminate onto the base by using, what did I use? Actually, I didn't mention it, but I used No More Nails. You can buy this stuff at Home Depot. It's not too bad. It's about $10 a can. And I like the one with a gun. And I use basically this to adhere the boards on. So these boards right here, they come with padding. So I removed the padding from underneath. And then I basically attached put a dab of that. And then basically pressed it onto the MDF board. Let it sit for a while and let it dry up. So this now has the MDF underneath, 1/4 inch, and it has the laminate pieces on top, so it's nice, super strong. But as I said, originally I was going to do Alcantara sides, and I was just going to keep the centerpiece as the showpiece, but I decided just to do the whole trunk in laminate. It looks much better. If I start mixing too many things, like, the carpet, I haven't really painted it black yet, but if I can actually leave the carpet as it is, because the upper portion of the carpet isn't too bad. I mean, with the flash, what I'm using on the camera right now, it seems a little bit bad. But like when you don't have flash on it and you sort of just keep it ambient light, it's not too bad. It's actually not that dirty. It's not too bad. So I decided not to spray paint or dye the carpet. I decided to keep it as is. And then by doing that, having, Alcantara sides, center being the laminate, and then the carpet being this color, like it'll match with the centerpiece, but it won't match with the Alcantara. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to do the base all from laminate. Makes sense now because I got the additional box, obviously, of the laminate, right? And then do the whole sort of trunk base in laminate, So, but in order for that to happen, I got to make sure that everything's modular, right? So going back to it, if I would have gone with the subframe and kind of had an extended piece that sort of goes over here, it would have made it very hard for me to be removed, right? So what I decided to do is on the side piece, which is this over here, I decided to attach sort of like a riser block. Okay, so it's a little bit of a trick. And then by having that riser block, it'll provide support. Because if I was just to take this board and put it to the side over here, right, which is going to be my foundation for basically the additional sort of pieces of laminate that are going to click into here. If I was just going to leave it, anytime I would put some weight or press on this side over here, because it doesn't have the support from the underneath subframe, I have a stopper block, which gives me a nice kind of a support, but also it'll allow me to remove each individual piece if I need to get to the spare, for example, right? Which is the whole idea of trying to get into the idea of building your trunk where you can sort of remove modular components, where you're able to sort of get either to the spare wheel tire, remove the main sort of piece where if you want to service your air suspension, right? So just a trick, because if I was just to leave the board right here, I would press on it, it would like distort my hardwood, it wouldn't be as rigid. So by sort of doing like a spacer block like that underneath, you know what I mean? It gives me a lot more support without adding support to the actual subframe, and thereby allowing me to sort of remove every individual component. Say if I want to later redo it, right? Say if I just want to redo just the cover, you know what I mean? I can still keep the subframe and then just change the laminate. Say the laminate gets scratched or wet or anything like that. It just having that idea of being everything modular allows you to sort of always change it up whenever you need to, right? But yeah, so there's a spacer block. Next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how I'm going to lay the laminate on here. I think it might be a little bit too tight, but we'll see how it is. I'm going to get a piece of laminate over here and sort of like build it up, and then I'll be able to attach it to the base and then later sort of force it in so it clicks in there. So that's going to be the next part. Okay, so basically it's starting to look pretty sick. So there's the main part, and then there's the piece that's supported. And all I got to do to remove it is basically just lift it, bang, snug like a bug on a rug, right? But I have that nice support here on the bottom, and then just lays on the frame, and then sort of the pressure of the carpet pushes on top of it, and it's basically just sitting right on the subframe and supported. Those are the actual grooves that click in onto the laminate. So I just gotta basically, it's just a beauty side panel, you know what I mean? And then all I gotta do basically is just sort of go like that, bang. And then it doesn't have enough movement here and there for it to shift. And then it sits really, really nicely. What I could do is on those remaining pieces that are over here on the subframe, what I like to use is I like to use Velcro, but heavy duty Velcro. Not the basic Velcro, like the heavy duty style Velcro that you pay a little bit more money for. And the reason why you want to use the heavy duty Velcro is because the actual hooks and the loops are a lot thicker. So it basically really latches on. Or you can hot glue magnets on top of it. That's usually mainly for the side sort of trim pieces, so they don't move around and wiggle around. I don't think this will. I will still just, as a precaution, still kind of attach a piece of industrial Velcro here, because this is where that little, where the subframe protrudes, and over here where the subframe protrudes, I can feel it here. It's not visible, but I can feel it. And then put like a nice Velcro, industrial Velcro here and here. And also why you want to use the heavy duty Velcro stuff is because the adhesive that they use on it is a lot stronger. And yeah, it'll definitely stick to wood, and it'll just provide another layer of sort of, you know, protection, and it won't move that panel aside. But one side's already done. I just got to figure out, basically, I guess I could trace this side in order for it to work to the other side, because the carpet's very similar. But now it's starting to look proper. It's not starting to look like, you know, like what it was before with all the sort of stains. I mean, the stains are covered underneath here of the carpet, you know what I mean? So it kind of looks decent. And there's not a lot of stain on the upper portion of the carpet. So it kind of meshes a lot cleaner and nicer. You know what I mean? I can always take it apart because it is a modular setup. And I can always take the carpet sides and I can always dye them black, right? But this kind of flows really nicely. It kind of matches with the colors. Very seamless. You know, also, at the end of the day, when you're using a subframe, whatever you put on top of the subframe here is up to you. You can use carpet, you could use, you know, laminate, you could use hardwood, or you could even use carbon fiber sheets. You know what I mean? Like you can buy 4x8 carbon fiber sheets that are about 1/4 inch, 3/8 thick, whatever you want. They're pricey, but they're pre-made carbon sheets, and you can just basically do a cutout and have a nice carbon fiber, like real carbon fiber, not fake carbon fiber base. And then that's really durable. It's glossy, it's beautiful, and then you can lay your hardwood you know, hardline setup on that. I didn't want to go with that because my budget is pretty cheap. I mean, I'm still under $100. Because the 2 boxes of laminate were about $23 Canadian, so that's about $46. The subframe wood costs me about $10, so we're about $50. The wood itself, or sorry, not the wood, but the MDF, or the MDF 1/4 inch panel was $16. Yeah, we're close to $100, and then plus, of course, the no more nails, right? But anyways, for $100, this is pretty good. And I still have enough laminate left over to do this side piece as well. And we're going to do the same idea. We're going to have a support block there. And this is what I mean. See how strong it is because there's that bottom support. You know what I mean? Whereas if that support wasn't there, if, for example, you still use your trunk and you could use it for moving of anything, or like chairs for a car show or anything like that, any weight that's put on there would literally crush this piece, and you'd have to get another piece of laminate. So this, at least it's supported and secured, right? And as well, for example, we're going to do the same idea here, but that's what I meant. I could put a strip over here of the heavy duty Velcro, one over here, so it also provides sort of X and Y movement, you know, hindrance, and that way it won't move around. But this is shaping up pretty good. At least I have a nice solid floor that I will be able to sort of put the tank, the compressors and start doing all the nice stuff with the hard lines. And I still have to decide how I'm going to do it. But this is a step process, right? I'm just showing you guys sort of like a step process that is like a basic but yet clean, hardline trunk setup. So stay tuned for more, and we'll show you how we go about doing more. Stay tuned.